So yeah, today what I want to do is to show an idea that I have developed with the goal of automating Sitecore component creation and Sitecore development in general with AI. And let's start straight to a demo and I can share what I have accomplished. So here I have a fresh start, a fresh instance of a JSS starter kit running locally on a container. For the demo, I also using this Figma MCP. It's called FrameLink Figma MCP server. I'm using VS Code with Copilot, the paid version. This is a sample Figma design I'm going to be adding to Sitecore. Here we have several variants of Bootstrap card component. And I'm also using this SiteKit, which is a CLI tool I've developed. And I'm going to show it how it works during the demo. Okay, to start, we can add a new tenant. And a new website. And just fire Experience Editor here just to warm up. Now in VS Code, we start with the CLI. I have it installed on my local computer, and we start like this: Kit, init, and the name of the site we have just created. And if you noted, this folder has been created with different YAML files. Let's look into the first one. Here we can see it starts with a schema and a sample of how a component can be described with all the options, as well with two working versions, just to give as an example. And I will do my first prompt here. Which is from the Figma file we saw earlier, add to this YAML file all the variants, all the fields, etc. You can see some issues here because of the schema we have at the top. VS Code is able to validate our entry, so also the chat bot is able to fix those issues. You can see it is designing the component for us. It created a card component. Fields, I'm not even looking the fields it created. Let's believe it. And all the variants, which I believe are 11. Let's give it. And now let me start with our second prompt, which is again from the file to the Sitecore next implementation of a card and all the variants. While that is working, let's do something else here. Let's call SiteKit. Now deploy to our, as you probably have guessed, what's happening here when I call deploy, the CLI tool will parse all those files into Sitecore items and create what is described here. You can see it's building everything for us. One more minute for the chat to finish its work. It's really the first prompt on that project. And as you develop, as you have more components already developed, more components already described here, it gets better than faster on creating things. Starting adding our component, the card component is in here. Let's see, maybe that's enough. I will leave it there for now. I believe that's all we need. So in Sitecore, see what we have. So first, you can see the container wrapper, which was described there. Now, into that container wrapper, I want to add my card. My card is not present here, and there is a reason for that. I have the components described here, but I never said that card is a allowed component into the container wrapper. And then I go to composition, where I can do that. And where is my PowerShell? Hit call deploy again. Now let's try again. We can now see the card available in our implementation and all our different variables, 11 different variables. This is image, code, and this is all Sitecore fields, all editable, including the image. I would be able to select an image inside. Okay, so moving on, I guess I can stop that prompt that did enough for us. And let's see other YAML files that got created when I call init. First site settings, that is meant to be all the paths which will contain everything that gets created by that CLI tool. You can imagine to create a component, you need a rendering, you need placeholder settings, templates, etc. Those are all the folder. Defaults, I'm planning to move that to a separate file where you can define, for instance, every time you have a workflow, a page workflow, usually you want to apply that to all your pages, why not just a couple, or language fallback as well. Usually when you use language fallback, true or false, you want it to all or neither components. So I'm planning to extract that to its own file and elaborate a bit better defaults, things that we want to set only once. Then we go to partials. Those are partial design, as we know. And when you call init, it started with a header and footer, which by convention, every time you have a partial call header or footer, they will become the header or footer of your website. And here we can do something else. a here header. Page structure is footer page structure. In partials, what we can do, and if you can see there is IntelliSense, you can autocomplete and the placeholder many. I want to add children header. Now let's do the same for footer. And call deploy. I have implementation of this in the wrapper and put a proper wrapper. I have the simple implementation of a footer and a header here. Just a React element with the word footer and header. Now, if we go back, let's just preview that one. We can see who the header and footer present in the website. Moving on, we also have page types, which you can define different page templates. Let's run another example here for a blog page. Home page, I want that blog page to be an insert option. And for this blog page, I want to do even more. Let's start creating the AI autocomplete sometimes. Let's see. Column, page structure. Columns. Columns. And let's do 1, 2 columns. Right. Left, as well as a page body, those two contents, and maybe about that, some kind of navigation for to be on the right panel. With content as well. And now on composition, we need to define all those column layouts I created as containers. One column, it's fine. Columns left, that's right. Well, now we just need columns. One. Left. And you see here we have 3 sections: groups, pages, and components. Groups, that's just a logical grouping of components, so we don't need to repeat ourselves all the time on our components. Pages, we need to tell what goes into a page. Here we started with containers. In column, we can add components. Let me add here page body. Let's say that component would display the title and body of a page. And for the wrapper, I want also to be able to nest containers. The word. So on the wrapper, I can nest other containers, not for the others. Let me review. Yeah, that's all. And now on page types, we can do similar to what we did in with the partials. And here I can add 2 column left. On the left, I would put page body, and I can repeat that. So in the right, I can define the block list. And I also have implementation of all those different containers. I'm going to grab here net page structure. And those are simple. It's just a few divs with a placeholder. And I call deploy again. That option you see worked. We have our blog page. And if we go to Experience Editor, we have our header, our page body, and blog tag list, all as defined in the layout. The layout for pages, it has one limitation. You cannot add a component that has data source because the CLI tool will not know how to add a data source. And it's also not something we want, right? To have a data source associated to standard values on a page template. And it will, if you try to add a component that requires a data source, if we do my rich text here, for example, it will throw an exception when you call deploy. And one last example I want to run here. I want to ask anyone a component that we can create. Rodrigo.
Can I drop one?
Yeah.
Make a carousel.
Okay, did I hear accordion? Yes, we can do an accordion. For sure. Let's do an accordion as asked by Rodrigo.
Accordion. Yeah, that was my idea. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you said, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And for an accordion, we also need a panel, right? Page content, fields, can be title, single line text, enriched text, and all that. You can see it's all being completed by AI, but if you type anything wrong here, there's a list of supported fields, the same that are supported for Page Builder in XM Cloud. It's all the fields you can use here. And if you type anything wrong here, it's going to tell you that it is wrong. And for the accordion, now all we need to go, meanwhile, let's just prompt and implement. No, I need to do that first. We add our accordion, and because our accordion is also a container, accordion, instead of common, we only want accordion panels inside of accordion. Deploy that and work on our prompt implement and for panel get tags for a port. Yeah, now we need to work better on our prompts, but for the sake of this demo, that might be enough. As this is deployed, let's go to Sitecore. And start building our Now we have only accordion panel. Let me save. And wait. That is enough. I saw it did something wrong here. We already have an accordion container, so we don't need that one. Let's see only with the panel what we get. Here's the panel we added. Another panel. And one thing I forgot to do for the accordion, let's do it. On the component, the title, I want the default to be a token. Now we come here. That looks better. Yeah, it's not working quite well. It's always expanding everything. But that was the component Rodrigo chose, so his fault. Yeah, so conclusion here is what I tried with the CLI is to offer a way for the AI models to easily understand what's happening in Sitecore. And then we have a managed code parsing those using GraphQL. Everything that gets created in Sitecore is via GraphQL. It also works on XM Cloud. Same way you can connect the serialization CLI to XM Cloud. You can do here. The difference would be you would need the N parameter and tell that you want to deploy to that. And that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, thanks, Roberto. I asked people to send your questions in the chat, guys. Roberto, have you tried doing anything beyond studying? Have you tried building real components from this using these tools? Like in your job?
What do you mean by real components?
Like, I mean, production ready, like
no, not
no.
yet. Yeah, that's always started as a POC. I wanted to enable agents to create in Sitecore in an interactive way, and that's where my idea came from. It could be used for production. Maintenance over time is not ready yet. You can scaffold your website with this tool, but you cannot deliver that as a deliverable, and I would not carry that long giving maintenance here. But to create a new website, definitely yes, it can be used. To create POCs or prototype in Sitecore is useful. But if you want to go further and implement an automated agent with minimal supervision, maybe that can help. For instance, if you create a website out of a live site, it would be possible to define an agent that creates those YAML files that are easily parsed by the AI models. But no, there is no production code delivered by this tool yet.
Yeah, I was wondering how much work does it actually save? Do you have a guess, like 50%, 80% when building one component?
We saw here, right? It's pretty quick to build
Very
one.
quick.
We
Yeah.
did not open content editor other than for previewing our pages. We did not even see the file, the items that got created here. All the renderings, of course, they are all here.
We have another question in the chat. Thanks, Amit Sally, for dropping that. We have 5 brands using the shared component with 5 look and feel. How can we manage different styling for component? Also, we have seen YAML, but can we utilize JSON?
No. This is the interface is fixed. It needs to be what is defined here for the CLI tool. This is more than a tool. This is an idea, right? If you develop the same thing using a different language here or different markup to define components, important is have a place on your VS Code where you can describe your Sitecore things and having a CLI tool that can transform those things into items, artifacts in Sitecore. And to manage styling, you can. That's also a feature here of this tool. You can use parameters. And this, let me go to the sample on top here. For instance, you can define background colors or anything. And those parameters at the end, they will be created under the styles folder. And all associations will be done by the tool.
Nice. Thank you. Just to recall, everyone asking questions will have a random swag for our collection. So see you in the symposium, Amit, to hand off your random swag. Vlad is asking, can you have variants for the component? You are muted, Roberto.
I'm sorry. Hey, Vlad. Yes, we do have variants. The components, that was the first, the cards, that was the first component we created. We did have variants. You can see all the different variants here. There's on top, that's the one I like. And in YAML, that's how it looks for our cards. We just list the variants, and those will be generated under headless variants.
Oh, okay. Anyone with more questions, please keep dropping in the chat. Um, so help me understand here, Roberto. So you have this tool, SiteKit CLI, and it does help with it's an extension that you install in Visual Studio Code.
Again, you'll mute.
Yeah.
It's a CLI you install in your Windows. Here in I have shared the
Nice.
implementation. It's pretty simple. You can download the Nugget package, install, and start using. All you need
Nice.
is another thing is important to mention. It works well with new implementations. It will not understand your legacy code. It does things in a very defined way, and we can see that we have folders where we are creating partials, where we are creating renderings. If you have components across different folders, it will not retroactively read your Sitecore instance and create the YAMLs. It's only one way. It's YAML to Sitecore. And yeah, so you init from a new website, and then you can deploy it. There is also a validate, which you can use to validate the YAML you typed is valid or not. And you can connect to XML, like I said.
Roberto, if anyone in this call wants to collaborate with this project, what do we need to do?
You're welcome. Just fork it and get in touch with me. You can send me a message here or in any other channel, and it's open for collaboration if anyone. It's an idea that I've developed last month, but it's still in very early stages, right? Another limitation we still have today, it does not remove things from Sitecore. So if I delete the variant from here, we will not delete back that in Sitecore. That's something I have to fix. So there are small things that need, not small, there is a lot of things that needs to be improved, and any collaboration is welcome.
Right, Amit has one more. So looks like you mentioned this, you're doing this in a vanilla instance, and I think you mentioned that quite already, but he's asking what are the best practices to follow when integrating with an existing instance.
It could be integrated. If you start that in an existing instance, it could be integrated. But I honestly don't have yet a best practice. I never did it. Either you can just move on from everything you have and only describe the new components here, that would work, or rewrite your components in the JSON manually. But short answer is I don't know what would be the best practice. I never really thought much about integrating to existing projects. The main idea here is for new projects and enabling AI to do the work for us.
Oh, and the part that you were showing before that AI was generate the fields, right? As you type the title, it was generating the rest of the fields. Is this also part of SiteKit, or is this just Copilot?
This is just Copilot. As we type, it pretty much knows what we want, right? A
Okay.
presenter here, it's going to offer to add a 4-column. No. But yeah, that's the AI autocomplete. And there is also the YAML autocomplete. If I press Control space, I can see those are this is IntelliSense, and that's get from the schema we have on top. One thing that I noticed that is interesting mentioning, I tried to use AI to read the schema and then generate components for me, and it did not work well. AI works better with a working sample rather than a technical schema. So that's no good for AI. This is better. That's used for the UI, right? For the schema, it's mostly used for the UI. If you had a view that doesn't exist, it's going to tell you, and also for autocomplete.
Cool. Roberto, are you one of those optimistic with AI in the IT industry, or are you pessimistic?
In the sense that we are all going to lose our jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, one day I think that's happening. I just hope that I will be already retired or already planning for retirement when that happens. But yeah, I think every new technology opens doors for new things to be created, right? It's never the end. But I can see it's game changing, right? AI, the way we can develop AI today, it's different from everything else that came before.
Yeah. All right. Okay, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks so much. I think if there's anything else, any other questions, please drop in the chat. Otherwise, feel free to get in contact with myself, Jose, or Roberto. We are all in LinkedIn, Twitter, etc., or X. Yes, Amit and everybody else. Diego Moreto just joined us. Oh no, he is saying he was already there for a while, and he's just saying hi. Yes, we are sharing this very soon in our YouTube channel. We always create one playlist for each event, and we'll be uploading that very soon. Okay.